Yeah, that intro song it doesn't feel apt on a day like today, to be quite honest with you. Anyway, Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4, a crazy game, and we've got we've got a match reaction. Oisin and Chris are here with us. Have we got an echo? Are we good? No, we're good. Bournemouth 4, a crazy game, and we've got have we got a serious echo going on here? Has someone got my stream on in the background? Chris? Right, okay, it's 4-4. 4-4, crazy game.
Chris wants to watch himself live when he's live here.
He's trying to watch himself. That's what he's trying to do. But anyway, guys, smash a like on the video if you haven't already done so. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, and get your thoughts in as well. An absolutely crazy game. Manchester United 4, Bournemouth 4. 2 more points dropped. 2 more fucking points dropped, and we are 6th in the table. I mean, Jesus Christ. If we could only win games, we would be, you know, very, very close to the top of the table. Oisin, give me your thoughts.
Wow. I mean, what a game. I mean, we went 1-0 up. We gave away a soft goal. Went in 2-1 up. I thought that we'd come back out and we'd consolidate and we'd settle into the second half and then go on the offensive and try and get another 1 or 2. That plan went out the window after 45 seconds. I mean, Dallo was on his arse in the corner for some reason. I didn't see what happened to him, but I think he just got swatted. So he just needs to be stronger.
I think he's trying to get Semenyo off the pitch.
It didn't work clearly, and then we got back into the game. Considering we were well up in the first half. Their first goal was a sloppy goal for us to give away. Their third goal was a keeper problem, was a keeper fault. I mean, Lemons hasn't done much wrong since he came here, but he just did that thing that keepers are doing these days, which is taking a step to the wall side before the ball is kicked, and then he can't get back soon enough. I don't know when that came into fashion, but it seems to be a thing now. And then I thought we got back into it. We grew in confidence with the changes. I'm not always a big fan of his changes, but these ones were offensive. He was on the front foot. Again, not much he can do with what he's got on the bench, but we some would say we stole into a lead again. Whether we deserve to beat it or not, I don't know with our second half performance. And then we just cannot keep a hold of games. And there's no blaming Amram with substitutions here. There's no blaming Amram with the system because he changed the system. He changed his tactical structure for this game, which is what we've been crying for him to do.
Yeah.
Base every game as a different game and don't get married to this 3-4-3. Just look at who we're playing against and adjust. So it's the 11 on the pitch. At the time, they just can't seem to hold a lead or hold. They just can't seem to hold a game. And I'm trying to figure out why we do this to ourselves week in, week out. It can't be good for health. We must be shortening our lifespan by 20 years watching these fuckers play that.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'm the oldest one here. That's bad news for me.
You know, I mean, you're fucked, Chris. Sorry. Yeah. But I mean, I genuinely don't know what more we can do, to be honest with you, as fans, or what more we can talk about this team anymore. That's a stupid thing to say in a podcast, but I don't know what else we can talk about because there's not much else these 11 can do, or they're not able to do much else, it seems to me.
Is it just we're not good enough?
Look, as a United fan, obviously I don't want to say we're not good enough, but as a realist, we're not good enough all over the pitch, is how I'd put it. You know, we're good in pockets in the pitch, and we're losing some of our most potent attacking players tonight. That's them gone. As I said to Chris last week, the only saving grace is Onana's called up, so he might be missing in Buemo for too long. You know, he might be back before Christmas, hopefully. But we're missing our most potent attacking right-siders for let's say till after Christmas at least, because even if they do come back, they're not going to go straight into the first 11. They're going to need to come back down again. So yeah, it's really frustrating, and they're actually tiring to watch. I feel like I've aged watching that game.
Yeah. Well,
I just don't know where to go with them.
Yeah. Well, Chris, I mean, look, the positivity of the first half, and then 5-6 minutes into the second half, we were 3-2 down.
Yeah, but I mean, I have to. What's up, Desi? I'm not okay. Not no excuses, but we had two teenagers playing in the back. I mean, you say we're not good enough. I don't think we're not good enough, but with those two playing in the back, we're not good enough because we're missing Maguire, we're missing DeLicht. Those are the guys. DeLicht's the one that has been commanding the back line the whole season and everything like that. And I think as good as Aiden Heaven has played, he showed his youth and his inexperience today. On the first goal, like Oshin said, that he kept backing off Semenya like he had some kind of disease or something like that, and that you didn't want to touch him. And then the first goal in the second half. I mean, it's just a matter of I don't think there's enough communication between the back line. Who's going to step forward? Lenny Euro. If you have the guy covered, then you need to tell Aiden Heaven, because you're behind him and you see him step forward, so you can let him know that you're there. And I just think it's youth in the back line is what killed us today. I mean, I agree with Oshin. Laman's on the free kick. That was, he took a step wrong. Okay, that's probably the one mistake that he's made this year so far and everything like that. So I can't. I mean, we're gonna have that. He's young too. I mean, I think we're just young, and like and Jack, you alluded to, we don't have the experience to finish out games. And then our midfield got played through on the fourth goal, I think it was, because it got played across to where Ahmad Sky was. He wasn't strong enough to make a tackle or a foul. And it just, and we showed a little bit today that our recovery, I mean, with Euro and Heaven and everybody in the back, we showed that we don't have the speed to track back. Casemiro struggling to get back. We know that about him, but I mean, positives. I mean, we scored 4 goals. We didn't. I think last year's team we would have lost this game 4-1. I don't think we would have. I think that it's a positive thing. I did like what I've seen out of Manu when he came on in the 60th minute, somewhere in there. I mean, he looked good. He's going to be playing. He's going to be playing next game. I mean, he's going to be playing against Villa because Casemiro's on a. Yeah, well, he has to. I mean, so I don't know what else they're going to do because Casemiro's on suspension. So
he'll play Ugarte. I guarantee you, he'll play Ugarte.
I don't see how. I mean, that's going to raise questions for me, because how are you going to play Ugarte when you bring Manu on? And this game you don't bring Ugarte on. So that would raise big questions for me with Amarim about that. But I did like what I saw out of him. But again, with him and Bruno in the midfield, we lack pace. Pace or positioning. So I mean, I have to chalk this one up to we have teenagers playing in the back line, and I don't care who you are. You have teenagers playing in the back line, you're going to have goals scored on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, Desi, I mean, Chris is, and look, probably rightly so, being positive about, a negative result at the end of the day. What's your thoughts on it? Are you more leaning towards fuck's sake, or are you, a little bit maybe on the more positive side like Chris is?
I'm disappointed that we didn't win the game, but I mean, if you're a United fan watching that, especially after the first 25 minutes, you're thinking, we're gonna put these under straight away, and they're not. We're gonna to be honest with you, Jack, I was happy with us 25 minutes in. I thought we were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I think when it was coming towards the end of the game, I just thought, I know Chris is going on about the back line, but if there's one player I thought that wasn't maybe on it tonight, and I'm not saying I think he's a brilliant player, as in Wemo, because I think he had some massive opportunities in the game, and he was just off it tonight. And I just think if he had it clicked while we were clicking, we could have found ourselves in a different position. But you know what?
I think the last 2 or 3 games he's been off it slightly now.
Yeah, his body language wasn't great. He just, it's like he's fighting against his own game at the minute, and you could see it tonight in him. Like, a couple of opportunities fall to him. He's scuffing at shots and that. But like, you're nitpicking. Then I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a good player for us over the period of his stay at United. But the back line, like Jack, when you look at a team, we're going on about teenagers playing in the back line. That comes from strength and depth. We haven't got it. Like, when are we going to come to terms with the fact that, De Ligt get injured? De Ligt is out, let's say. Maguire is out. We've nobody to replace these guys.
Yeah.
We haven't got like for like in the team. And then we flip-flop and all the teenagers and this, that, and it's the manager's fault because he's playing the wrong system, and we need to switch back to 4-4-2. And no matter what way you look at it, we haven't got the strength in the team that we need to compete. And
here's an unbelievable point, or an unbelievable stat that just after seeing on when leading at halftime at Old Trafford since May 1984, 0 defeats.
That's some stat.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Now, and I want to lean on this a little bit because I think it was you, Oisin, that mentioned it in the live chat that the one thing you can say about this team is that there's a bit of fight in them. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on that, or what you were happy and pleased that you saw tonight?
Look, I'm only comparing it to the last couple of seasons because it's all we can do, really, considering where the bulk of this team has come from. And I mean, if we had last season, if we had gone 1-1 with Bournemouth or even 3-2 down, we would have lost that game 5-3 or 6-3 because the heads would go down. That doesn't seem to be happening anymore. We seem to be fighting to the end. Even last week against Wolves, when things were taking a bit of a turn towards the second half, they knuckled down and they kind of they ran away with it in the end, really 4-1. But it's a trait that was lacking for the last 2 years, maybe towards the Ten Hag's time, and then you kind of have to say really all through Amram's first season there was no fight there if they went behind or they lost a goal. So I'm just pleased to see that side of the United I grew up with coming back to the fore and then fighting to the 90th minute.
Yeah,
that's all I meant by that.
No, I can't stand that. I'm just reading some of the comments there. Some of the United fans are fucking absolutely delusional. We need Semenyo, sack Amram tonight.
I know, I seen that.
Honestly, top the fuck on me is absolute clowns. I don't care if he's a part of the panel. That's just, you see one good player have a game tonight for Bournemouth and he's on about get him and sack Amram. Are you delusional? Who is that? Niche fan. Yeah, go and play football first, maybe. Or something. A bit more about the game before you start throwing out stupid comments like that, man.
It's a niche view, but anyway, so it is.
Man.
I agree, man. Try.
Oh no, Jack! That's what gets under my skin. Sorry, Chris. We have not got the squad. When are people going to realize this? I'm not by any means saying that's an excuse for Amram. I'm not. I'm saying, in general, if he wasn't there and we have another manager in his place playing a different system, we'd have the same scenario with the same group of players. We have got 3 or 4 good players in the door. Relax yourselves. Give it time. All right. What we are seeing good parts. The first 25 minutes of that game today, we absolutely dominated them. We looked like we had more energy than them. Anywhere they went trying to get the ball out from their own half, we were there. We were getting the ball back off them very quickly. We were turning over and going into attack. There was plenty of positives to take out of that game. The issue that we have is that we don't have the strength of depth in this squad to continuously do that for 90 minutes. And that is the major problem for Amram and his system currently. So relax yourselves. We haven't, there's the 3 defenders today. There's another comment in there in the comments. Yoro can't defend. Seriously.
Nonsense. And if we were to get rid of Amram, right, I've seen a great opportunity here. Do you know who we should get? If we were to get rid of Amram? Get fucking Jack Pints in there. 9 points clear at the fucking top of the Blues.
Oh, you've been waiting to do that one, Jack. You've been waiting to do that
Get up, I said.
one.
I
Brilliant.
agree. I agree with Desi. I mean, that's the point I was making earlier. Is that the fact that we have two teenagers playing defender, and everybody's crying out, "Oh, play the youth, play the youth." This is what happens when you play the youth. It's one thing if you play one guy here and one guy there, a little bit here and there, but this is the issue. It's like everybody wants. What's that?
What did you think of Sesko when he came on? I thought for his first game back, he was involved in Cunha's goal, getting forward. I thought he looked lively. In fairness,
He looked lively, but I think he's got to work his way back in. I mean, from what I read, he could have came back last game, but he had food poisoning, so that's why he, as far as injury wise, I think he's over his injury, hopefully. But I think he looks lively. I mean, he's got to get his feet underneath him and get going, and he's going to have to play next game. And my issue is that like we were talking about, it's like we looked a better team, and everything, but we get our mistakes are so glaring, like that it makes us look terrible. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, like the goal. I mean, the goal on Semenyo, that was such a, like, any winger that's coming down the wing is sitting there going, I can't believe that guy's not going to step to, like, he keeps backing up. Like, if Aiden Heaven backs up anymore, he's going to be in the Stretford. Like, it's just like, but that's the problem. We get overshadowed by such our glaring mistakes that it overshadows how well we were playing at the time.
Jack, how many shots did we have on target in the first 25 minutes? Can you pull that?
I think we had 10 shots in the first 20 or 11 shots in the first 20 minutes.
I think.
And I seen another stat. Hold on. So I seen another stat then come up after Semenyo scored. Was it who scored the third? Evan Nielsen, was it?
Yeah. Evan Nielsen, yeah.
After he scored that, in the next period of 15 minutes, we had 17 shots.
We had 25 total shots in the game. We had an XG of 3.29, so we outscored our XG. But the problem is that Bournemouth massively outscored their XG of 1.8. You know what I mean?
Bad defending.
Now, I know some people don't like XG and stuff like that, but it's a fantastic stat to know where you sit within a game. You know what I mean? Like United created an awful lot, and the XG proves that.
But if you look at that XG stack that they way overscored, it's because of our mistakes. It's not because they earned them. We made the mistakes to give them the goal.
Oh yeah. Well, that's usually the case. Either there's a screamer from 40 yards, or defenders make mistakes, and so on and so forth. But when you look at the dominance of the game, and United having 3.29, you know what I mean? Like, throughout this season, we've drastically underperformed our XG. So we've got a really high XG this season, but we haven't matched it up with goals, and that's our problem. You know what I mean? So it's good to see that we did outscore our XG, but you've got to obviously control it on the back end then as well with the opposition. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Anyway, look, what we got? 18 minutes. Like, in relation, Oisín, to where we stand, obviously, in the league table, look, it's sixth place now, and I mean, Jesus Christ, like 2 points there, 2 points against West Ham. We dropped 3 points against Everton that we really should have. That's 7 points. Like, we should be second, really. Is it frustrating or is it encouraging?
It's got to be frustrating, surely, doesn't it? I mean, I can't see why it's encouraging. We're putting ourselves in the position to get this stuff. Okay, Everton was one of those freak kind of, playing against 10 players and they suddenly become a better team kind of games. But we're throwing away, as I said when you first asked the first question, we're throwing away chances that I just can't understand how we're throwing away the games. I really can't. I mean, we're sitting there, we're watching the game, and okay, look, there's a lot. I think in the last few games we suffered a lot by ref bias. I don't think we got a whole lot from the refs in any of the last maybe 3 or 4 games.
He was
They balance out over 38 games in the season, so you can't look at that. Amarin's substitutions before tonight, maybe you could look at what was he doing when the Everton game. Myself and Chris had a discussion last week. What options did he have? Sesko was out. It was only all defensive players he had on the bench. But I mean, these things do catch up with you as the season goes on. But I think the biggest thing, and I've been saying this for a while, and I agree with Desi, are strength and depth. And until we get that sorted, I think this team could run out of steam next February, March, and we could tumble on the table unless we put an investment in January, even with one game a week. I can see this team as it currently is running out of steam February, March time and tumbling down the table just because they need the reinforcements.
Well, talk to me about that
I
argument then. Should Martinez be back in the team? Should he be putting more experience into it? I know we're being
Look,
hypercritical.
Martinez did his ACL in April.
Yeah,
I think we're lucky to have him back in the same 12 months.
yeah.
I mean, I think we're doing well to have him even on the bench, considering. And when you consider he was only back from a serious knee injury at that time as well, that he did. We're lucky that we have him back in 2025, in my opinion. And look, he is a leader on the team, absolutely. But do we rush him back in and he has a recurrence or something happens, and then
and that's happened to him already before, hasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, that's how we got this ACL, or that's how we got the ACL. And we were just saying there, without Delict, without Maguire, you take him out and you're down to Heaven, Yarrow, and Shaw as your starting back three with Mazraoui and Delone to fill in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a ridiculous depth chart.
And on top of that, Ush, if we have a really good strengthened squad, he doesn't play at all.
Who doesn't play? Martinez?
He doesn't play. If we've got someone in the same caliber as him, when we can protect him for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know what you meant by that.
He doesn't play a game at all yet.
But
we need him, is what you're saying now. We had to rush him back because we
that's
don't have anyone else.
That's what I agree. I'm totally agreeing with you, Ush. I just think that's a point to stay. Like, lads are saying, why didn't he start tonight? He's been rushed back anyway. And if we had a really good squad at the moment and someone that could fill his boots or be similar to him, he doesn't start the game at all. He probably doesn't even make the team at the minute. But the fact that was so light in terms of quality, he has to come into the squad. And we need to seriously look at that as fans and say, look, take our medicine. And he's mentioned there before he even come on, I was watching this. Someone said that we're just not good enough. That is a fact. We're just not good enough yet. We had another podcast a while ago, Jack, and you. Maybe I shouldn't bring this back up. Are we in the title race? Joking.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I answered you honestly, and I said maybe not this year, but when we come around next year and we've gone through January, and I hope that they throw a player at them then, and then we get a few players in over the next summer's transfer window, and then we'd be maybe more of a strength and depth squad to maybe have a go at it then, and then we can really, decide what we really think of Anram. But right now, it's not the time to do it.
And that's why I'm going to go the other way. And to answer your question, Jack, I think it's encouraging because with our lack of strength and depth, look where we're at. I mean, it's an encouraging thing for me because, if you think about what Desi just said, if they throw a couple players at us for strength and depth in January, and Ocean and I talked about this last Wednesday, a little bit, is that in January you get a little bit of depth in the window. You don't necessarily. There's about a 3% chance you're going to get a starter in January. We did it with Bruno one year when we were supposed to get him in the summer. We ended up getting him in January. So maybe you can get a starter, but you're going to get your strength and depth in the January transfer window. And then from there, it's encouraging that we're sixth. Yes, we dropped points. Everybody dropped points and everything like that. But at the same time, where we were last year compared to where we are this year, I think it's encouraging with the fact that we're having to play with two teenagers in the back line. Yeah. We're having to play with without our number 9 signing in Sesko for however many games. Cunha's missed games. Our another signing, our first signing of the summer. And Mbumo, and I'll be honest, I think Mbumo's he's one of the guys that has yet to not come off pretty much during during this whole first stretch.
Yeah.
He's been playing every game. So is he a little out of form? I can understand it. Maybe his legs are a little jello-y a little bit. You know, I mean, I don't care who you are. I mean, like,
I think Ruben Amram, I'll share this on the screen. I think he's hit the nail on the head here, to be quite honest with you. He says we're losing a lot of games because of the details, not the system, not the formation, but the details. You know what I mean?
I agree. It's just it's the lack of experience in like we just talked about. Bournemouth far exceeded their XG because of our mistakes. You know, if we limit our mistakes, we win that game easily at that point. You know, maybe if Heaven steps to Semenyo, that goal doesn't happen because maybe he has to push him out wide more. You know, if Lamens doesn't, you know, if he trusts his wall and stays where he's at, it's an easy save instead of taking a step towards the wall before the ball is even strong.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot of, but all those guys are under 22 years old. You know, I mean, so for me, it's encouraging.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I'm on your side. I think it is encouraging. I think, you know, when you talk about, you know, like I remember talking about Chelsea saying, you know, they've got a hell of a lot of really, really young players in a young squad, and in 2 or 3 years' time they're going to be very good and so on and so forth. I think you can, maybe we're not as, you know, haven't got maybe the same kind of quality with younger players as they do. They spent a lot more money than we did, but look, I do think it's positive, the position that we're in at the moment. And I think it could be a hell of a lot worse. It's a massive improvement on last year. We're scoring more goals. The problem is we're just conceding too many, you know.
Yes.
And if we can get a couple of more transfer windows in where you get the midfield reinforced, you know, you get the defense reinforced, you get maybe a couple of wing backs, it's a work in progress. But I think there has been massive improvements.
And I'll have to throw out there that, I mean, Delo today, for all the shit we give him, he played pretty well today. He was going after him today.
Yeah.
You know, he made some good turns. He made a good cross and everything like that. So, you know, and we all have to understand that even, you know, Delo's a fullback, not a wingback. Everybody is learning how to play the system itself. Like it's not like a snap of your fingers and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, 100%.
And like he said in the one interview, Casemiro was out of the team for a while at the beginning of the summer, and then he worked his way back in the team because he started. There's Big Ben, but then he started the alcohol. The pub must have got to him on that. But I just think it's, you know, it's a work in progress, and we have to understand that. So that's just.
Jack,
go on,
one question.
I'll give you the last input.
Right.
So, from what you've seen so far this season, do you believe, and answer the question honestly, that if we had strength and depth and more quality, do you think the way we're playing, we could really hurt a lot of teams in the league, or we could be challengers? If we had the players that we need, just think about the question. Like, do you think that the way we're playing, how we're creating the XG and all that crack, they're all stats, but how you watch the game yourself as a coach, do you think if we had the fire and power to put into that team would be title challengers?
Yes, I do. My one concern is, like, I absolutely think Ruben Amram has improved us. He absolutely has, you know, in terms of our XG, in terms of our chance creation. You know, when you look at all of the metrics for this season, we're up there with some of the best. You know, we've turned our set piece conversion around. You know, our only issue is we're conceding silly goals. You know, now the one issue I would have with Amram, and it's not even an issue with it, or maybe that I would question him, is can he turn around the mentality of some of these players, is maybe what I would have a slight question about. You know what I mean? Is he strong enough to a Klopp on it? You know, like, now, as much as I don't like Klopp or Pep Guardiola, you know, they turn their, and like any good manager turns your team into monsters. You know what I mean? Yeah. Uncontrollable monsters, but in a good way. Yeah. That would be my one. But again, that's something that comes when you've got good players that you can build a base from. You know what I mean? It's not something we can answer just yet.
No.
I think he's shown the ability to turn players into what he wants. Luke Shaw's, you know, the Casemiro's, you know, even an experienced player like Casemiro, he got him back in the squad, and, you know, he's turned Bruno into a different player. you know, and everything like that. Luke Shaw was never a pressing center back. Now look at him; he steps forward.
Yeah.
Many times this game, he stepped into the midway into the midfield to win balls. He would have never done that before. And I just think it's everything's turning well and everything like that. So you just have to
give it
do
time.
That. But we'll have to wait for the podcast to address your thing this morning, Jack. Because
this time next year,
I'm fuming on that one. I'm not happy.
Yeah,
you're not happy with me, or you're not happy with Amram?
You.
Come here. Listen, before you go.
What's wrong with what I said?
Well, because I don't think if you listen to the interview, he's not going after him. He said Toby Collier's not playing it for. Hold on. He's not playing for West Brom because he got hurt and he acknowledged the injury. But everybody's crying for youth. If you listen to the questions before, why aren't you playing the youth players? Why aren't you doing this? Well, look at the players that were playing last season. They can't get into teams this season. And I think that's the biggest thing. And he's showing examples of Toby Collier. He got 8 appearances, only started 3, and got hurt in one of them. So it's not like he's an all-star or anything like that. And he's just showing, you look what we had before, and we sent these players out on loan, and they're not cracking.
What positive does any of them players get out of what Ruben Amorim said, other than the fact of Ruben Amorim trying to defend himself? That's what I
tell you right now. Everybody that's crying for Cheeto Obi Martin because everybody's asking where he's at, and everybody's like, "Oh my God!"
No, Chris. Idiots are asking where he's at. Idiots are asking where he's at. He's 17 years of age.
You can also look at it and say, "Oh, he mentioned Cheeto," and Cheeto's like, "Oh, you're not even starting for the under 21s, and everybody wants you to play for the first team." Like, hey, get your shit together to play for the 21s.
Why does Ruben Amorim get involved in that? Why is he saying that publicly? There's no need to say that publicly about a 17-year-old who is making his way in the underage setup. He mentioned Harry Amas, who got player of the fucking month and started 11 games in a row and probably the only bright spark in Sheffield Wednesday. There's no positives for any of them young players on what Ruben Amorim said, regardless of whether they're playing well or not. There is no positives.
By what you just said, and apologies, I don't
give me one positive out of what Ruben Amorim said in relation to the development of them players.
I think it lights a fire under Cheeto Obi Martin.
Bollocks.
I think
absolute bollocks.
You talk about Harry Amas. Sheffield Wednesday is so bad. I think the player of the month is like a participation trophy.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You could go to any fucking club that's playing in the mud, and the easiest thing to do is lower yourself to the standards of everybody else. He hasn't done that. And for his manager to be saying he's struggling at Sheffield Wednesday is completely out of order. It's completely out of order. If I said that about a fucking under 17 player that I wanted to come up playing with our junior team, I'd be slated. What are you doing? I'd have his father fucking ringing me. You know, there's no benefit to it. Pull him aside and have a chat with him. Don't say it to fucking millions of people in the media.
See, I don't.
Call out a 22-year-old, 23-year-old, 24-year-old, 25-year-old. No problem. Don't do it to a 17-year-old in the media. It's not good enough out of Amram.
See, I don't.
Ding ding ding.
You wanted him to be a first team player. He's going to take first team abuse.
He's not, but none of them are first team players.
Well, everybody wants them to be first team players, but he's
everybody's opinion is irrelevant. Everyone's opinion is irrelevant. Just because people on Twitter say they should be playing in the first team doesn't mean they're right. You know what I mean? Cheeto Obi was brought into the first team last year because we had fuck all. We had less than fuck all. We had Rasmus Highland. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's why he was brought in.
No, anyway,
a conversation for another day.
Yes.
Anyways, before we go, this time next year, we'll be sitting pretty in the table, boys. Don't be worried about it.
Yes, sir.
Freebooters B will be in the Premier Division in Kilkenny.
All right.
Right, lads. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I'll talk to you during the week. All right, Desi, legend. Appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for watching as well, guys. Do smash a like on the video, subscribe if you're new. Look, disappointing result in the end, but again, look, it's good to get the boys' opinion. You know what I mean? The positivity that they bring to it is obviously what hopefully the majority of United fans are feeling. It's disappointing, but there are positives, I suppose, to take from it. Given the position where we are in the league, if we can just put a run of wins together, God only knows where we could be. But thanks for watching, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with the Talking Points video around lunchtime, so keep an eye out for that. Hit that like button for us, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Take it easy. Good luck.